He led Mississippi through the aftermath of one of the worst natural disasters ever to hit this state or this country. This month, MEMA Director Robert Latham announced that he is retiring. Before he heads on to his next challenge, Latham reminisced with our Gene Edwards as they sat in the war room of the new MEMA headquarters.
This is Mississippi's new Emergency Management Agency headquarters in Pearl. The building cost $16 million. Half of it was paid for with FEMA money. This is where all of the activities will be headquartered should there be another Katrina. Robert Latham will not be here, though. He's stepping down. He's leaving the agency on the 1st of July. He's been on the job since 2000. What a remarkable career. The weekend that the storm came, we've never really talked about what you were feeling when you realized it was going to be so bad.
I remember going to the coast on Saturday and traveling along Highway 90, and the atmosphere along the coast, I'm talking about on the beaches, was similar to what I had read about in Camille. I mean, there were bonfires, people were having parties, and I'm thinking, these people are not evacuating, so it scared me. And then only that night when Max Mayfield called the governor, told the governor this was a Camille-like storm, and the governor said, well, Max, you need to say that, because when you do, people in Mississippi will understand that. And when Max and the Hurricane Center did that on Sunday morning, we had a good evacuation on Sunday. So it was some very tense moments over the weekend, and our fear was that people were not going to evacuate.
And when you first went down there?
I went back on Tuesday morning after landfall on Monday, and then stayed there a week, living in some pretty crude conditions just like everybody else. Right. But I think it was important for me and Bill Carwile, who was a federal coordinating officer, to be there. And I think it gave us a real understanding of what people were dealing with. I'm talking about local governments, what our citizens were dealing with. You can much easily manage something like that when you understand the circumstances. And even the staff back at the EOC didn't understand how bad it was. Even by looking at the pictures, it doesn't do it justice. How devastating it was.
Even today, people don't understand.
No, and you know, somehow Mississippi has been forgotten to some degree because it's been overshadowed by much larger events. But you know, in some way, it's a tribute to our character and the way this state responded, I think. I don't know that you can totally plan for an event like Katrina, but things went very well. Our local governments responded well, and people did what they had to do.
There is a story people tell about you in an ice truck.
Yeah.
Tell me that story.
It's pretty emotional. I will say that on Wednesday, Bill Carwile and I were on the coast. We went down on Tuesday. There was no communication. We had no idea what was going on in Hancock County, Jackson County, because all we could see what was going on right there in Gulfport and Harrison County where we were. No communication. So Bill and I got in a vehicle and said, we're going to ride and talk to these counties, see what's going on. We drove over to Hancock County. Came off of I-10, came down 603, and the debris, I mean, you had to dodge vehicles and mud and houses and everything that were in the middle of 603, and it's obviously, you know, catastrophic. So we get to the EOC, and it's gone, basically, so they're operating out of a trailer and a tent out front, and I go in, Congressman Taylor's there, meeting with the county administrators, some supervisors, and county emergency management director, and, you know, what do you need from us? Obviously, there were a lot of needs. And about that time, the local funeral home director walked in, and he was just in tears, and he said, you know, my morgue is full. I'm just going to have to start putting bodies in the parking lot. And I said, you know, we can't do that. We're just not going to do that. And we had actually ordered reefer trucks on Monday before landfall. Well, they weren't there yet. I mean, reefer trucks are not a rarity. I mean, they're everywhere. Right. But they weren't there. I mean, you know, they were on the way. That's them. They're in the pipeline. Well, this is Wednesday. They hadn't gotten there yet. So we're going to do something. And I said, what about the reefer trucks that were on the port? None of them, some of them were still, you could hear the engines running on, but they were just basically so destroyed we couldn't get them. About that time, a gentleman drives up in an ice truck, and he had just delivered a load of ice. And I said, where are you headed? He said, I'm headed to pick up another load. I said, can I rent your truck? And he said, well, yeah. What you want to do with it? And when I told him what I want to do, he said, I can't do that. I won't be able to use the truck again. This is the way I make my living. I said, can I buy your truck? Well, yeah. So I sat there with the county administrator, and we negotiated a price, and I said, you buy this truck, and I'm good for it. I can assure you we will reimburse you some way, but we're just not going to allow that type of thing to happen to where we cannot meet those needs that are so critical, and to understand, you know, the victims and show the respect to those that had lost their lives. So it's a pretty emotional thing for me. I remember it just like it was yesterday, and it was it's pretty tough.
Are you frightened going into this season? They say the temperature in the Gulf is warmer than ever.
After last year, I don't know that I call it frightened, maybe gun shy. But you know, Gene, I think the thing that concerns me that it doesn't take but one storm. One storm, and it's not going to take a category 4 or 5 because of the vulnerability of the coast, because of the at-risk citizens who are living in temporary housing, the progress that's been made on the debris removal. You know, just another kick would just, you know, be, you know, devastating. But having said that, I'll say that, you know, that the character and I think the resiliency of the people on the coast is just absolutely amazing. When I go down there and see, you know, you wonder how can they have anything left in, how can they have any fight left in them? And it's just amazing to go down there. And even though when you go, it's so disturbing to see the damage, that the character of the people doesn't seem to be damaged.
When you took office, when you were first appointed in the year 2000, about half the counties in the state had emergency preparedness centers. Now everybody
82.
does. Now you have this marvelous facility that you're about to move into July the 1st, which is also the day that you're retiring. And you're stepping down. Is there a fight left in you?
I think that everybody hopefully never gives up the fight for something. But I've kind of compared it to chapters in a book. I mean, you know, your life is a book, and there are chapters. And when you write one chapter, you move to the next one. You know, and I've still got some fight left in me. I think there are issues, there are things that I can help with, hopefully on the national level, certainly in emergency management, because there is a tremendous need for us not to forget how vulnerable this nation is to natural disasters. It's not just hurricanes. So there's a lot more we can do, and I hope that I can have some role in that, in helping prepare this nation. And when you look at this, when you look at the 82 county programs we have now, the staff that we have, the field services that we have to work with cities and counties, those were all goals I set in February of 2000 when I told Governor Musgrove, here's what I want to do there. I look back a few weeks ago when I was trying to make my decision, I've achieved every goal that I set when I came here. So, you know, it's time to leave, I guess, on top. I feel good about it. I will always look back on this as an important part of my life, and it is embedded in everything that I will ever do. But I don't know that there's going to ever be anything as satisfying as this job.
Mississippi owes you an enormous debt.
Well, I don't know about that, but I've had some good help. I've had some good people who have supported me. I've had 2 governors who believed in me, Democrat and Republican. To me, I think that's a tribute, and I'm proud of that.
Thank you.
It's about the citizens. Thank you, Gene.
MEMA expects to begin operating out of their new headquarters sometime during midsummer. MPB is pleased to partner with MEMA to bring you the most up-to-date information by contributing our staff and technical resources to the process of emergency awareness. Be sure you know where to access MPB on your radio dial. You'll find those frequencies at mpbonline.org under the radio tab. Please also check out our site for other information featured on this program.